This is the 2024 election night. I think I'm going to get rid of my screen because I look retarded. Oh, wait, I haven't even introduced it yet. So, in this election, we've had President Joe Biden has actually given up. He's resigned from office. And after Kamala Harris took the presidency, she was like, this isn't as much fun as I thought. So then a couple of random people, we didn't expect anything like this, okay? We did not expect nothing like this to happen. But this really crazy thing happened. Like this, the Poppleton books? Well, Poppleton entered the race as a Democrat for some reason, and somehow he destroyed all the other candidates. It was incredible. Most of us couldn't believe it. And in the Republican Party, there were a number of candidates running, including Ted Cruz, Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, and all the rest of them. But then, out of nowhere, this guy called Hudson, also from the Poppleton book, entered the race. He said he wanted to do it because, quote, I want to see if I can beat Poppleton, unquote. And then what happened is that Cherry Sue of the Poppleton books, I know, this is the craziest coincidence, folks. Cherry Sue has entered the race and decided to enter as an independent, meaning that she will try to win electoral votes, even though we know that she has absolutely no chance, which is sad. But who cares? I mean, look, it makes the race interesting, you know? Well, anyway, oh my gosh. I cannot, yeah, sure. Yeah, whatever, okay. Yeah, fine. And in this election night, we have the three facing off against each other. This is a crazy election. Nobody knows where the heck this thing is going to go, because most of the polls have projected that Cherry Sue is going to win every single state. But we know that those polls aren't right. So let's keep watching as the results of these states come in. And now we have a state projection. Surprise, surprise. I mean, it's kind of crazy that, we watch the results come in and already we have some projections to make. But we can now project that in the state of Indiana, Hudson, Poppleton's best friend, is the winner. And in the state of Kentucky, we project Hudson to be the winner. These are two very safe red states. And this already disproves the polling that said that Cherry Sue was going to easily win. So we still have no clue what's going on, but so far, 19 electoral votes for Hudson, 0 for Poppleton, and none for Cherry Sue either. This is going to get pretty interesting, believe it or not. We don't expect Cherry Sue to get any votes in the long run because of her being the independent and all that. But she might be able to, as they said about Ross Perot back in 1992, be able to pick off a little vote here and there from a couple of the districts. So we'll see, if that ever comes to happen. Not that I think it will. I think that's actually a bunch of baloney. Anyway, oh wait, we have some more state results. In the state of Texas, Poppleton has won. This is mainly because people in Texas like their bacon, and Poppleton is a pig. So therefore, he's carried the state of Texas in a landslide, which is kind of crazy, and now he leads Hudson with 38 electoral votes to Hudson's 19. Exactly 2 times the number. Cherry Sue still sits at 0. Better luck next time, Cherry Sue. But we'll be getting back to that in a second. Oh, more state projections, actually. In the state of Vermont, this is actually pretty interesting. Hudson carries Vermont, making this the first time since Bush won the election in 1988 for Vermont to vote for a Republican. This is actually a very bad sign for Poppleton, as the fact that Texas is voting for him is a bit crazy. But this last 4 years, we've had some major party realignments, which is the reason why all these states are voting for other people. It's just, it's kind of a wacko. It's kind of wacko, and we're not really used to states doing this, but I mean, it is going to be a bit wild. I don't know. We won't know what this election map looks like. And now we have another state projection. In the state of West Virginia, Poppleton. This is because West Virginia is a very conservative state, and conservatives like their bacon. We have been looking at the map, actually, the polls, and a lot of conservatives have said they would vote for Poppleton even though he's a Democrat, simply because they cannot miss their bacon. It is too precious to them. And now we have another state projection. Most of these are coming from New England, but it appears now that in the state of New Hampshire, the big swing state, apparently it's actually been won by Hudson this time. This is kind of a crazy outlook on things. None of us expected New Hampshire to ever be carried by a Republican ever again, but it's been carried this time by a Republican. Hudson with its 4 electoral votes. Poppleton still gets Massachusetts, though, which, I mean, that's how the cookie crumbles, am I right? Oh, and Poppleton's still leading Hudson. Hudson has no chance. But in the state of Rhode Island, it's very interesting. Hudson has actually won the state of Rhode Island. We don't know why he won the state of Rhode Island, except that he did. And in the state of Connecticut, Hudson, the winner. And in the state of New Jersey, Hudson also gets to win. And in the state of Delaware, this is embarrassment for the former President Joe Biden. It's been carried by Hudson, too, which means that the two candidates are now tied, and Cherry Sue still has no electoral votes, which probably means that she's going to lose. But, I mean, I don't know. She could get some at some point. Oh, wait, now we have a big projection. Illinois goes to Cherry Sue. Actually, no, it doesn't. It actually goes to Poppleton, of all things. Yeah, I know, this is crazy. We didn't think Illinois could ever. Actually, we did. Illinois always goes Democratic. Who cares? But now we have another state projection. The state of Virginia has actually gone to Hudson. This is kind of strange, as normally we're used to saying West Virginia be red and Virginia be blue. But this is a, kind of a strange sort of election because we've had a lot of realignment. Plus, the fact that Poppleton is a pig causes a lot of conservatives to crave bacon more, and most people just want him in the White House for that aspect alone. Cherry Sue still doesn't have any electoral votes, by the way. And now we have another huge state call to make. Actually, we're calling it way too early, but we think that Poppleton's going to take California. I mean, no Republican will ever touch California ever again, trust me. Even though no state results have ever come in, it's going to Poppleton, man. I can guarantee it. In fact, I will bet $100 on it. And now we want to look at another state. Actually, more results are coming in, and Hudson appears to in Ohio. Oh my gosh, it is so. Oh man, it's like he's leading by 200 votes. I cannot believe this. This is literally the craziest we've ever seen Ohio be. We never thought it was going to be this bad. And now we are looking at the state of Tennessee. In the state of Tennessee, Poppleton. This is because Tennessee has the Great Smoky Mountain. And in the Great Smoky Mountains, people like their smoked bacon. Thus, Poppleton has carried the state. And now we can make a call for Ohio. Ohio is actually barely now going to Poppleton, but you know what? We still don't know. In fact, Hudson is so badly losing this. Actually, it is now kind of strange because we have another call to make. You see, in the state, it's not even a state, but in D.C., Hudson has won DC. Apparently, all them black people in DC do not like pigs and thus voted for Hudson just because they didn't want a pig in the White House. And now we are looking at another major state. Actually, not very major at all. The state of South Carolina. 9 electoral votes goes to Poppleton. And now we have another call to make. Ohio is barely going back to Hudson. So screw what I said before. It's a Hudson state, trust me. Let's look some more. And in the state of Alabama, things are kind of looking strange for the state of Alabama as Cherry freaking Sue is actually, oh man, it's so unbelievable. I never thought this was going to happen, but Cherry Sue is actually oh man, she's like in the lead by nearly 2 votes. Just 2 votes she's ahead. And coming in second is Poppleton. So we don't know what's going to happen, but Cherry Sue could very well win the state, and wouldn't that be crazy? Oh, but actually we just got in some more information. We see that the state's going to Hudson. So sorry, Cherry Sue. And now we have another big one coming in. State of New York. Hudson is going to carry state of New York. This is really, we never thought this was going to ever happen. It's like a miracle that this could ever happen. But I think New Yorkers are generally opposed to bacon, which explains why Hudson has carried this state. Oh, but now Cherry Sue's getting back Alabama, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. I still don't know. Oh, and we have another call to make, by the way. Poppleton is again taking back Ohio. It's so intense. I didn't know what was. I don't know what's gonna come of this, man. It's insane. But we're gonna have to keep looking after that. Oh wait, now we have a major correction to make. You see, in the state of South Carolina, Hudson is actually winning the state now. I don't know why we called it for Poppleton before. It was a big boo boo on our part, So forgive us for that. That state's going to Hudson. Oh, and another boo boo also. I think we screwed up when we projected Tennessee for Hudson. It turns out that some people in Tennessee actually like smoked mouse more than smoked pig. So that explains why Tennessee is actually going to Hudson now, as he is a mouse, and therefore he is narrowly carrying the state. Actually so narrowly. Oh man, this is like the first time Tennessee has been so narrow. And then we have another crazy call to make. You guys just won't believe this one. But Poppleton is still taking back Alabama. It's really, we don't know what's going to happen. It is going to be crazy, man. We don't know, man. We just don't know what's going on with that. Oh, and we have another state call to make, by the way. Hudson is just bad. Oh man, I cannot believe it. I'm looking at the numbers and I'm rubbing my eyes over and over again, but believe it or not, folks, ladies and gentlemen, Hudson is leading by a single vote. One more person voted. Oh, by the way, Cherry Sue has gotten a significant 2% of the vote in Ohio. So that's pretty darn good for a third party, but most people don't like Cherry Sue because of her being a third party and stuff, so that's why she didn't get any more. And things are looking pretty close now. Poppleton is now projected to win Maryland. This is kind of normal, but it's kind of weird also because the rest of, the New England areas tend to be more, Democratic, and most of them went Republican this time. So, it's kind of crazy. And now we are making not really a major projection. The state of Missouri, Hudson, taking Missouri pretty handily against Poppleton. We never really realized that it was going to be that easy of a win, but he's actually winning by 90% at this point. Oh wait, that's because Poppleton isn't even on the ballot in Mississippi. I'm sorry about that. I guess we can guarantee this state to Hudson. unless Cherry Sue can barely creep in there and maybe pull off something. I mean, that's also possible. And now we are looking at the swing state of Iowa. Iowa is going to Poppleton. It's just kind of crazy, come to think of it, that Poppleton could win Iowa, but I guess these things happen. Oh, and we have another major call in the state of Ohio. Poppleton is now leading by a mere 25 votes. Oh, it's the suspense kills you, I mean, I just can't. The fact that I'm blown away. I really am. I never thought things would get this close. Oh, by the way, Cherry Sue is actually taking back Alabama, believe it or not. I never thought I'd be saying this, but Cherry Sue taking back Alabama. And now Hudson is down to just 129, and Poppleton is up to 163, and Cherry Sue is at 9. Oh, by the way, we now have another major projection. In the swing state of Ohio is John just barely to Hudson. So we are calling the state for Hudson. He has won it by just 11 votes, and things are pretty crazy there. You got to admit, somebody's going to claim voter fraud. I can just guarantee it. Because, nobody... Oh, man. And now Hudson is actually leading Poppleton by 2 electoral votes. And now, in the state of Tennessee, we can project that Poppleton is actually going to take back Tennessee. Sorry about that previous projection, but Hudson, I'm sorry, man. You tried your best with that state, but too late. It's going to Poppleton. And now we take another look. The state of Oklahoma, Hudson. State of Kansas, Hudson. State of... Oh, wait. Things are getting kind of close in Nebraska. We got to wait on that. But North Carolina, North Dakota, and South Dakota both going to Hudson. Now he is catching up to Poppleton. He is only 1 vote behind. Cherry Sue is at 9, but we don't know if Alabama's actually gone for her yet. So, and actually it hasn't, as we are now projecting that Poppleton is taking Alabama. So, yeah. Or actually Hudson, sorry. Hudson has taken back Alabama, and it's 9 electoral votes. We don't know if Cherry Sue can really make a comeback in there. They got 90% of their vote counted. It's really, it's kind of crazy. But, things happen. And now we have another major state projection, but not really. In the state of Louisiana, it is going to Poppleton because a lot of people there like their bacon smoked, and and they like their hot sauce, and they like all their dressings on their meat, and Poppleton has proved very popular down there. So thus Poppleton has carried the state, and now the two are tied, with Hudson at 164, Poppleton at 164, and Cherry Sue still has none, as we knew she won. Oh, and now, did I ever mention that the state of Maine is actually going to Hudson this time? Things are getting kind of crazy, but you know what? This second stinking district is so close. I cannot believe it, but there's no way. We can't call this yet. So we're going to have to wait on that. But that gives Hudson an edge. Things are getting pretty intense here. Hudson has now won Wyoming, and that's because of the prairie mice. Prairie mice have had a huge appeal in Wyoming for a long time, as that, Wyoming is pretty much the home of the prairie mice. And Hudson has taken in their appeal, he's carrying the state. And in the state of Montana, it's going to Hudson as well, but by the closest of margins imaginable. In fact, we won't even call it yet, because it could very well go to Poppleton. And now in Alabama, we are looking at Alabama, and we see that Alabama is actually going back to Cherry Sue. We call Alabama for Cherry Sue. And now, in the state of Ohio, it turns out that Poppleton is once again back on top of the state of Ohio. So we have a major call to make. Poppleton, the winner of Ohio, and it's 18 electoral votes. Hudson now is behind again, which you got to feel bad about him for that, but you know what? I mean, he could catch up, And Now we are looking at the state of Florida, and things are getting kind of crazy in the state of Florida, but it actually looks like Cherry Sue is about to take the state, which was not expected. We don't know if this is really going to happen. Maybe Cherry Sue has this southern appeal we didn't know about, but we'll have to wait and see about that. And now we have another huge state call. In the state of Michigan, Hudson, projected winner. This is a really crazy projection. I didn't think I could actually make this projection, but I just did, so I guess I proved myself wrong. And now we can actually go back to Ohio and say that Hudson is actually just about to carry Ohio. And we don't know if he really has, or if this is just another one of my bad projections again. We'll have to wait and see. And now it is time to project another huge state for Poppleton. In the state of Utah, it has gone for Poppleton. This is crazy, as Utah is a very Republican state. But in the past couple of years, a few Californians decided to go into Utah and screw things over. They were like, "Hey, let's go into Utah. Let's all vote for the Democrats, and then the state will go Democratic, and then therefore the Republicans can't carry Utah, which narrows their chances of winning ever again. Haha, best plan ever." And so it looks like they've succeeded. Poppleton has won 6 electoral votes from the state of Utah. And now Hudson is back at it again. He's carrying the state of Minnesota, interestingly enough. We never expected Minnesota to vote for Hudson. But, it's one of them crazy years, And now we get back to Idaho, and Idaho gets to go to Hudson as well as Washington and Oregon have both gone to Hudson. But Poppleton took Montana, so things remain pretty tight, as it seems some of those same annoying Californians also decided to move, but they went to Montana this time, which is even more vulnerable than Utah, and therefore flipped the state. And now we have a huge call. We did not think this would ever happen. This is kind of a doozy, but it actually doesn't look like our projection about California was actually right. We thought we were like, oh man, we can just project this thing whenever we want to. I mean, we know it's going to go to Poppleton. But it looks like actually Hudson is taking California, as those annoying people's moves incredibly backfired. They backfired so badly. It's really hard to believe it, but when those people moved to those other 2 states to steal those other states' electoral votes, California lost enough of its Democratic population in order for the state to actually flip and go to Hudson. Things are getting pretty crazy. And in the swing state of Ohio, we still can't call it, but it is now going to Poppleton. We call the state of Ohio for Poppleton. And now we have a safe call to make. Cherry Sue has won Alabama, which we just talked about before. This is crazy. We did not think we were like, what the heck? She hasn't won this. And speaking of Cherry Sue, she has successfully carried the Maine 2nd District, which is crazy. As before we were talking about Ross Perot and how everybody said he was going to be able to pick off electoral votes from Maine. Well, he wasn't able to do it, but Cherry Sue has. She's carried Maine's 2nd District. And now, 2nd District in the state of Nebraska is very, very, very close. And so we cannot call that 2nd District either, nor the 3rd District, nor the 4th District. In fact, let's just not call the entire state. And now we can make a crazy call. And because it is now apparent that in the state of Nevada, it has gone to the Democrats. This is pretty crazy, but there are a lot of swines in Nevada, and it seems that they like to vote for their fellow swines, so they have voted for Poppleton over Hudson, and it's actually been pretty safe. This is the first time Nevada's not really been a swing state in quite some time. And now let's look at the electoral votes. Hudson at 247, very, very close to winning. Poppleton is only at 142, and Cherry Sue is just at 39. But we don't know if she's actually won Florida yet, so we won't stop with that. And now in the state of Mississippi, Cherry Sue is leading the other. Oh man, we did not expect this to come about at all, man. How the heck is she possibly taking? Oh, jeez. Man. And in the state of Alaska, whose polls have just been released, the state of Alaska, it is actually going to vote for Hudson. Big surprise. As well as Hawaii. Hawaii is actually going to vote for Hudson as well, too, surprisingly enough. And now we can make another state in the state of Ohio. Ohio is just barely edged out of victory for Hudson. Hudson has now won Ohio. It's 18 electoral votes. And he's won it by just 9 votes. We could not believe it when we saw the number. We were like, can we read numbers properly? But sure enough, we could. We were right. Just 9 votes give this state to Hudson, which means that he has won the presidency as the world's first mouse president. And now we look at the state of Georgia, considered a swing state, and we see that Cherry Sue carrying Georgia by a very close margin. So we won't really call it yet. In fact, Florida we can't call yet either. The same with the state of Arkansas. We never believed this possible, but Arkansas is now voting for Cherry Sue. And she has won its electoral votes. But it doesn't matter anymore because Hudson has easily won. Or, no, wait, actually he hasn't. Because you see, in the swing state of Ohio, Poppleton taken the state back again from Hudson, which prevents him from going over the 270 mark once again. Maybe Poppleton has a chance at winning this election. We don't know, but we will have to wait and see. Let's look at Nebraska again. State of Nebraska, the 2nd district is so close to call. In fact, oh man, the state looks like it's going to Cherry Sue. In fact, all of it looks like it's going to Cherry Sue. But Poppleton looks like he's taken 2 of Nebraska's districts, and Hudson has taken 1 of Nebraska's districts. While the entire state itself is voting for Cherry Sue. But things are so darn close, we're just not going to bother. The entire state will not be called yet, as we cannot make a projection. And now we look at the state of Colorado, going to Poppleton. This is not any big surprise, as is New Mexico. It's not, it just goes this way, And we look at Arizona. It looks like people don't like Poppleton because smoked meat out in Arizona is pretty hot and sweaty, and to cook it over fires, people often get ticked off, and so therefore Poppleton has been so badly turned off that Hudson has been able to carry the state. No, just nobody wants smoked meat out there. Just nobody. So Poppleton, sorry man, you don't get Arizona. And now we are looking at the state of Ohio again. And it looks like Hudson has just... Oh, man. He's won it by 1/2 of a vote. Now you might be asking yourself, how is there such a thing as 1/2 of a vote? Well, the answer is that some people live in wheelchairs, and when there's not half of them, when half of them doesn't exist anymore, then they aren't really a full person, if you get my drift. So he's just, oh man, you know what, this is just getting crazy. And in the state of North Carolina, Poppleton, looks like the liberals are very happy about North Carolina because it's now going to Poppleton. They were always saying, oh, we just gotta win this. We just gotta win it. And they finally won it. But it doesn't matter, as Hudson has already won. Or has he? The state of Ohio going back to Poppleton, which brings Hudson again below the 270 mark. Hudson will not be the next president of the United States, nor the world's first mouse president, because he does not have over 100 electoral votes. Now in the state of Florida, we can call safely for Cherry Sue the state of Florida. And Nebraska, again, is so close, we cannot call. And the state of Wisconsin is so close, we cannot call. And the state of Pennsylvania, we can call quite easily. It's going to Poppleton. Very, very, very easily. Oh, man, it's like, one of those, it's like one of those states that, like, the moment votes start rolling in, you can just easily call it for Poppleton. Well, I didn't call it for Poppleton before because none of the results were coming in, and I was like, what the heck? What is with this? And now in the state of Ohio, we can look at the state of Ohio and barely call it for Hudson. He has won it by just 3 votes. It's really crazy. I never believed Ohio could get this close, but it has gotten this close, and he has won it with just 3 electoral votes. And in the state of Wisconsin, things are getting pretty crazy in the state of Wisconsin. We're having trouble calling it right now, but it looks like it's going to Poppleton, interestingly enough. Oh, major upset right now. Cherry Sue, the winner in the state of South Carolina. We didn't ever believe this could happen. Another major projection. Cherry Sue has won the state of North Carolina. Pretty crazy, right? We didn't think this could ever happen. And now, Hudson. Sorry, you don't get the state of Ohio no more. The state of Ohio is going to Poppleton by just 4 votes. We cannot believe how close Ohio is, but it's going to Poppleton, and it's 18 electoral votes. And the state of Nebraska voting for Cherry Sue, and she won all the districts, believe it or not. None of us thought she could win all the districts. And things are, you know what? This is actually kind of crazy. We never believed that this could be this way. Wait, how? Nobody's got 270. Well, let me explain, if I may. You see, when somebody doesn't get 270, then the top 3 candidates go to the Electoral College and, not the Electoral College. Well, they go someplace, and then, like, the delegations vote on them and stuff. And then whoever gets 26 out of the 50 states, they win. Yeah. So, no, things aren't over. For you see, it is in the state of Ohio. We are giving this back to Hudson, believe it or not. State of Ohio going back to Hudson. And major election offset. We did not think this was going to happen. But the state of Virginia has now gone to Cherry Sue. We can't believe this, but it appears that while we weren't watching, she successfully crept up from behind and carried the state by a plurality of 39% to 32% and 31%. This is incredible, ladies and gentlemen. We cannot believe this. And in the state of West Virginia, Cherry Sue. Things are getting a little bit offbeat. I myself cannot believe how much Cherry Sue has suddenly been dominating these southern states. And the state of Louisiana going to Cherry Sue. She has won the state of Louisiana very, very handily. We cannot believe it, but we are sorry we made a call too close there. And the state of Tennessee going to Cherry Sue. We are deeply sorry. This is we are not projecting very well, if you get my drift. And things are not looking great. Nobody has carried 270. But who knows? Somebody might before the night is out. This is one of the craziest election nights I've ever hosted. I couldn't believe it when oh man, so close. And in the state of Hawaii, Cherry Sue has carried the state of Hawaii as well as the state of Alaska. Cherry Sue is also the winner in the state of Kentucky, and my home state of Indiana goes to Cherry Sue. Cherry Sue is now leading the electoral votes. In terms of Poppleton, she's leading him. Hudson is only at 235. He does not have enough electoral votes to win. Oh, but now we can make a safe projection in the state of Ohio. The state of Ohio is going to Poppleton by just 4 votes. Oh man, here we go again. And in the state of Illinois, going to Cherry Sue, as well as the state of Wisconsin's and Michigan's, are both going to Cherry Sue, and their huge electoral vote counts, which means that things are getting kind of out of hand. We never expected this to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Cherry Sue was not expected to carry any of these states. And the state of Missouri also going to Cherry Sue. But good news for Hudson. In the swing state of Ohio, he has just barely narrowed out a victory. He's won it by approximately 6 votes. Just 6 more people voted for him than Poppleton in there, and even then it was only a plurality win. I mean, the majority of the state really didn't care about him, but neither did the majority of the state care about Poppleton either, so things remained pretty tight. And in the state of Iowa, Cherry Sue, the projected winner in the state of Iowa. We cannot believe this, folks. This is utterly insane. None of us believed Iowa could ever go to a third-party candidate. Likewise, in the state of Maryland, going to Cherry Sue, and Delaware, New Jersey, Connecticut have all gone to Cherry Sue. In the state of Rhode Island, going to Cherry Sue, as well as New Hampshire and Vermont, all going to Cherry Sue. We cannot believe our ears, ladies and gentlemen. And now, looking at the electoral vote count, Cherry Sue is almost the winner. We are astounded, folks. This is like the biggest blowout ever. How, ladies and gentlemen, could Cherry Sue possibly have gotten this far? I mean, she's leading both major party candidates. How the heck does this even happen? Maybe this will be the first time we ever get a third-party independent candidate into the White House. And now we are looking at the state of New York, and it turns out that the state of New York gone to Cherry Sue, as well as Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, Arizona, Nevada, California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana. We can't project Wyoming yet. North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota, as well as all of Maine. Cherry Sue has won this election in a landslide. 514 electoral votes for Cherry Sue. Meanwhile, Poppleton has none, and Hudson has just 24 electoral votes. But this is subject to change, as now in the state of Ohio, Poppleton is going to carry the state of Ohio, we have decided. This was not foreseen, but Poppleton is taking the state of Ohio. And Hudson now is just down to 6 electoral votes, which is subject to change, as Cherry Sue has now carried Wyoming, giving her a landslide victory of 517 electoral votes. And now we are looking at the District of Columbia, and things are getting crazy here. Cherry Sue is coming across pretty strong here. In fact, this is the closest the District of Columbia has ever come to flipping from anything other than Democratic. You see, Hudson happens to be leading in the District of Columbia with just 46%, which is less than a majority. Cherry Sue is at 45%, and Poppleton has gotten the rest of the vote. D.C. is proving to be a toss-up in this election. But good news for Hudson. In the state of Ohio, Hudson, the projected winner in the state of Ohio, he has barely won the state, winning it with just 8 more votes than his nemesis, Poppleton. And now we have the final electoral... Oh, no, wait, not quite the final electoral vote map. It seems that we made a mistake. Ohio is going to go to Poppleton, all by the closest of margins. Only 1 more vote then Hudson in the state of Ohio has allowed him to carry the state to victory. And looking at the District of Columbia, Cherry Sue has passed up in the District of Columbia and has won it. In fact, she is now on the way to winning it at nearly 60%, which is insane, as none of us ever believed she was going to get that far. Nearly 60% of the vote in D.C., which actually makes it her weakest state, as all the other states she has won by more than 60%. Except for Ohio. We forgot about Ohio. No, she's not winning Ohio, man. Still at 2% in Ohio. There's just no way. And speaking of which, in the state of Ohio, Hudson will just barely carry the state back from Poppleton. In fact, he has carried it back by so close a margin that I don't even think there was a number. He has won it by approximately 0.0000000123 votes. That's a percentage. That is a fraction of a vote. This is not a percentage margin. This is a fraction. All those zeros and then 1, 2, 3, and he has won the state. And now we are actually we are making a correction. Ohio is instead going to Poppleton. We don't know why we called it for Hudson before, except, oh wait, no, Hudson is actually going to carry the state of Ohio. Excuse us for that. And now we have our final electoral vote map. Cherry Sue with 520 electoral votes to Hudson's 18 and Poppleton's 0. It seems that Poppleton's low intelligence has carried him very far down, and that Cherry Sue's smart aleckness has caused her to win every state. And Hudson has only barely picked off the state of Ohio, though judging from our constant flip-flops of projections on that state tonight, we literally have no clue. This state could also go back to Poppleton. We do know that Cherry Sue is not winning Ohio. Oh, wait. No. In the state of Ohio, Cherry Sue is the projected winner. She shot up from just 2% of the vote in the state of Ohio to winning it by over 70%. Cherry Sue winning the state of Ohio with 72% of the popular vote to Hudson's 16% of the popular vote. And trailing distantly behind is Poppleton with only 12% of the vote. Cherry Sue, the most historic presidential candidate in history, has won this election with 538 electoral votes. I cannot believe I scoffed at this person. She's insane. How she has won this election. She has won it with 100% of the electoral college, and her popular vote percentage is over 71% of the popular vote to Hudson, receiving 22% of the popular vote, and Poppleton receiving just 7% of the popular vote. Poppleton, the worst performance of a Democratic candidate in history. Screw Poppleton. His party will throw him off the stage and boo him with rotten apples once he learns of his defeat. And Hudson, at least, did better, but still did terrible. Cherry Sue won this election. Congratulations, Cherry Sue. This is the greatest political upset in history. And that is all. Cherry Sue is now the 48th President of the United States. And her running mate will now be the 40-something Vice President of the United States. And that is all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching this election. We had no clue what was going to happen. We, honest and for true, had no clue Cherry Sue was actually going to carry every single state, every single electoral vote. She is a historical candidate. Praise Cherry Sue. She will be the best president ever. And that's it. That's the end. Bye. How did this even happen? Oh.